The PEEP approach. Written and created by Hartline. Hi everyone, I'm so excited to be talking to you today about open access articles and how you can evaluate them to see if they're credible using the PEEP approach. You'll learn lots of new things in this presentation. During this presentation, you'll learn what an open access journal is. You'll get an overview of open access journals and the positive and negative aspects of using open access journals for research. You'll also learn about the PEEP approach during this presentation. You'll get an introduction to what the PEEP approach is, and you'll learn what each letter of PEEP stands for and how to use it to evaluate your open access article. During this presentation, you will see 3 examples of how to evaluate open access journals and the articles you find from them using the PEEP method. You will see a variety of articles that Finally, you will take a quiz at the end of this presentation so that you can show what you've learned, and you will also try evaluating your own article using the PEEP approach.
Created using Powtoon.
When today's students, or anyone for that matter, want to find information, the first stop is the internet, and more specifically, Google. A Google search will bring up several different types of resources. Videos, images, audio files, and plain text sites will come up on your list of search results. Another type of source you may find are scholarly journal articles. Anyone who has ever written a paper for college has had the frustrating experience of finding an article that is perfect for their research and then been denied access to the article. Sometimes you will be lucky and find that specific article on your school library's journal database. Subscriptions to scholarly journals cost libraries thousands of dollars per year, and there is no way for libraries to purchase every one. Scientists and researchers who usually work for colleges and universities and are paid with tax dollars write articles after conducting research and then seek publication. They submit their work to journals, and the journals send out the article to be peer-reviewed. The reviewers and the authors are not usually paid by the journals for their work. Schools then buy subscriptions to the journals. When publication was solely in print, this model made sense, but now journals can be published digitally and accessed quickly and easily through the internet. The cost of journal subscriptions has increased dramatically in the last 30 years, and libraries can no longer afford to have as many subscriptions. So now there is open access. Open access journals are free to read and free to reuse as a basis for future research. The idea of open access journals is that they would be double-blind, peer-reviewed, just like articles in journals that need to be purchased. Open access articles benefit many areas of the scholarly world, including professors, professionals who are post-graduation, students, researchers, and scientists who would like to conduct new research. Professors and students can access any and all of the latest data available using open access articles. If professors cannot read the newest information, their teaching will not be up to date. Professionals can continue to do research even after they graduate from their university and no longer have access to the library resources they had in school. Students can access more information and are able to find the most relevant and up-to-date information available. They also know that this information is credible if it's been double-blind peer-reviewed. Open access allows researchers to share their work with a large group of scientists, professors, students, and professionals in their field. The point of research is to share it and to build upon it.
Created using Powtoon.
When research is accessible to all, researchers know exactly what work has already been done and they can focus on a new research topic. They are encouraged to learn more and expand the knowledge within their field. Open access is great and encourages many good things in the scientific and scholarly community. However, there are some downsides as well. Students and professors must be sure that the information that they're accessing on open access is accurate, up-to-date, credible, and reputable. Scholars who use open access articles must be sure to not plagiarize the work they find. Credit must be given to the authors of open access articles when information is used. Some open access journals are predatory and exploit authors by charging them to be published, do not require any peer review, and publish false information. Authors of these articles need to be careful to make sure that their publisher is credible. Like any other source, an open access journal article must be evaluated by the reader for credibility. It is important that the article is reliable, up-to-date, and authentic. A good system to use for evaluating these articles is the PEEP approach. If you find an article you want to use, look at the title of the publication. Have you seen it before? Do you recognize it? If not, you need to do some research and some searching to see what you can find out. Once you've checked the publication title, you need to move on to the editor. Do you know the name of the editor? Have you heard that name before? Do you recognize it? If not, you need to do some research. Figure out who the editor is affiliated with. You will do the same thing for the editorial board. Look at the names and the affiliations and see if you know who they are. If you don't, do a little bit of research and figure out more information. Finally, look at the name of the publisher. See if you know who they are. Do you recognize the name? That's great. If not, do some more research and see what you can find. I found the article Information Needs in a Community of Reading Specialists, What Information Needs Say About Contextual Frameworks. It was published in the journal Information Research in December 2011. When I found the article, I thought it looked suspicious. The format was strange, the colors were dated, and the name of the publication was unknown and unusual. This article was published by Information Research. I've never heard of this journal, so I looked for more information. After a Google search, I found that Information Research is an international electronic journal based in Sweden. The journal requires that all articles have a double-blind peer review before they are published. It seems like this was legitimate. Dr. Tom Wilson is the editor-in-chief of Information Research. I have also never heard of him, so I did some searching. He is a professor emeritus at Sheffield University in England. He is currently teaching at 2 universities in Sweden. Information Research has a large editorial board. Each member is listed on the website with a brief description, and most are professors at universities in Europe. I had trouble tracking them down because of language barriers. Dr. Crystal Fulton is a professor of Library and Information Science at the University of Dublin.
Created using Powtoon.
The publisher of Information Research is the University of Borås in Sweden. The Sweden School of Library and Information appears to be world-renowned. The website says SSLIS is the leading institution within the discipline in Sweden, with a well-developed network extending over Nordic countries and Europe as well as internationally. Despite my difficulty finding information on the other editors of Information Research, after all the other information I found, I felt that this article came from a legitimate journal. I searched for the journal in Cabell's list of publications, and I found that Information Research was listed. Next, I found Teaching Information Literacy Now by Laura Gardner on the School Library Journal website. When I found this article, I was confident in its credibility. It was a website I had heard of, and the content of the site was appealing and easy to navigate. Once I dug a little deeper, I was surprised. The article was published by School Library Journal. I've heard about this journal, but I looked for some more information just to see what I could find. On their About Me page, it said, "We welcome rigorous thinking, but School Library Journal is not an academic publication." This was the first strike against this article. I looked through the entire School Library Journal website and searched for information on Google, but I couldn't find any information on editors. I did find some information for submitting articles and for people who would like to become reviewers. Again, despite my best search efforts, I had no luck in finding any editorial board for School Library Journal. This journal is sponsored by Scholastic. I have heard of Scholastic. I'm sure that they try to be as accurate as possible with the information that they publish. However, I'm pretty sure their main motivation is to sell their products and not to publish scholarly articles. Overall, I have to rate School Library Journal as uncredible as a source for scholarly research. It is probably a valuable resource for librarians and teachers, but should always be read with the understanding that the publisher's main interest is probably selling a product and not providing credible research. My third article is The Effects of Integrated Information Literacy and Science Curriculum on First Grade Students' Memory and Comprehension Using the Super 3 Model, written by Lin Ching Chen and published in the Knowledge Management and E-Learning Journal. Again, it seemed like a strange name for a journal, and I was completely unfamiliar with it. I looked on Cabell's International and I found the journal, so I started doing more research. had not heard of this journal, so I went to the website and saw the quote, "Knowledge Management and E-Learning is an open-access, peer-reviewed international journal that aims to publish latest and quality research articles in the multidisciplinary area of knowledge management and electronic learning." I also found that the journal has all submissions peer-reviewed in a double-blind process by experts in the field. Maggie Wang and Stephen J. H. Yang are the editors-in-chief for KM and EL. Maggie Wang is part of the Faculty of Education at the University of Hong Kong. Stephen J. H. Yang is a professor at National Central University in Taiwan. NCU is one of the leading universities in Taiwan. KM and EL has a large editorial board. I had not heard of any of them, so I looked up a couple names. J. Michael Spector is associated with the University of North Texas here in the United States. He is involved in educational research at UNT. Michael J. Jacobson is a professor at the University of Sydney in Australia. He is a member of the social work faculty. The University of Hong Kong is the publisher of Knowledge Management and E-Learning. On their University of Hong Kong Today page, they say, "Today, HKU has gained international recognition for its accomplishments as a research-led comprehensive university." Once again, I was led astray by my first impressions. I thought this would not be a legitimate source, but it turned out to be very reputable. Knowledge Management and E-Learning is a great place to find open source articles from the international community.
Created using Powtoon.
The good news about scholarly research is that things are changing. More and more information is widely available. More and more information is open access. Unfortunately, the bad news is we have more responsibility than ever to make sure that the information that we find is accurate, credible, relevant, and up to date. The PEEP approach is an easy way to check to make sure that the open access scholarly research articles that you find online are legitimate and credible. Please take this quiz on surveymonkey.com to show what you've learned from this video. You will also have the opportunity to analyze your own scholarly article using the PEEP approach. You will find the link for the quiz below. Thanks for watching!
Created using Powtoon.